Three, two, one.
You asked me earlier on in the interview how my experiences in the Air Force, what effect they had on my future life after I got out of the Air Force. First of all, I told you it taught me discipline and how to respect rank and so forth. One of the biggest things it taught me and convinced me was that I wanted to be a pilot someday, no matter what happened. So eventually I became one as a result of going to work for one of the largest funeral homes in the state of Louisiana, big enough that they owned their own airplane after I got there. They bought this airplane for the purpose of getting remains from distant points. After the railroads gave up transferring remains from one point to another, the airlines had not gotten into that business yet, so there was a vacuum there, and the vacuum had to be filled by charter flying in small aircraft. So this company that I worked for at Shreveport bought an airplane and taught me how to fly it. Because of that, I was able to get all the way through my commercial license, my instrument rating, and my instructor's license, all because of that very one fact. I flew that airplane for them for about 7 or 8 years, and then decided I would go to Jackson, Mississippi to start my own business in the burial vault business and have my own airplane also. So I did. I went to Jackson, Mississippi, and my partner and I, brother-in-law of mine, Paul Nielsen, who also had been in the Air Force during the war, bought this business in Jackson. And eventually we bought our own airplane, but as a matter of fact, we had two airplanes that we transferred bodies from. We had an ambulance company there, and the ground ambulance company, and we used the same airplane to transfer remains as well as bodies from the different hospitals. Many people would go to New Orleans or to Houston or Bethesda, Maryland, from the VA hospital, and we had the business of transferring them to those places. This worked out very well for the longest time. That is, until the airlines got into the idea that they also could transfer bodies in a casket, but only in a casket. That doesn't favor the funeral home that is coming to at all, because he wants the remains coming back on a stretcher, which we could accommodate very well. Our airplane could accommodate two stretchers, two pilots in a casket. And so therefore that made us pretty versatile from the flying standpoint, from transferring bodies from one place to another. This worked out for many years until finally it got to be a paying operation because of the fact the airlines could sell a ticket for much cheaper than we could charter our airplane for so much a mile. We sold the aircraft then, and it wasn't but about a month after we sold the aircraft that the people bought it crashed it, and that was the end of that particular airplane. So that was the end of that service. Now, you say how the Air Force affected me. It affected me because I was able to get up in the cockpit many times and actually fly the B-17 with the pilot sitting right there teaching me how to fly it. That put the idea in my head that I could become a pilot someday, whether the Air Force made me one or not. I was determined that I wanted to become a pilot, and I would. So I amassed around 4,000 hours flying all over the United States. How many minutes?